The family. This week we are talking about the link between family and education. What is the mode of education that you have adopted in your life? What is the mode of education that you have chosen for your children? Very hot and widely discussed questions and concerns in our Christian communities, but also in the society at large.
So we started a new study last week and it's on education. We determined that education is not just going to school. It involves all areas of life. And this week, yes, we are looking at the family, which used to be the primary and at some point the only source or mean for education. After Adam and Eve found themselves outside of the Garden of Eden, they were the one in charge of the education of their kids. And I'm speculating here, but I'm sure that one of the primary subjects that they taught was a lesson they just learned about the importance of the choices that we make.
Yeah, from God to Adam and Eve to their children. This is how the flow of knowledge was supposed to go, as per Genesis. However, things have changed a lot since Adam and Eve lost their direct access to God. Things have changed a lot because they have lost their teacher and instructor in their lives. On the other hand, though, there's one thing that remained constant, and it was the family setting. This is where children learn first and with lasting consequences.
Let's think about this for a moment. We live in a very different world today, and some of the reflection in the lesson may seem too disconnected from our realities and our needs. But if you dig into the principles that are discussed, there are some very important points. For example, that we cannot delegate our responsibility as parents to teachers, government, pastors, or whoever. It's our responsibility. We can outsource certain matters like science, calculus, etc., but this is different. The lesson also brings the importance of the spiritual side and aspect, which is central and the base. After all, I'm sure that for Adam and Eve, everything was around. We were there, we messed up, we want to go back, and this is the path that we are walking. Everything else was most likely around that.
Companionship, sympathy, understanding, emotional and personal connection have been almost replaced by just communication. The flow of information and knowledge is the primary focus of educational institutions today. Is that enough? Does that create a relationship-based education? God's model of learning has been through companionship, God-man companionship, parent-child companionship, as well as teacher-student companionship. Have we been able to sustain this model of learning in our life and in our children's life? Just food for thought.
I'm not quite sure that I get your point here, but I think that the lesson stresses out on the importance of communication. It's the core of education. Now, this is a huge topic, of course, but it's weird how in today's age we have so many means for communication, but we actually do struggle to communicate. It's not just about transmission of information, but of so many other things that help us form relationships. Real education requires deep relationships, and they're built on communication. So, some very important elements here.
Like our Christ and the church is our Christian model of family, church, and society. So, knowledge and education are built in the relationships within those institutions. A father has a role to play and moral duty. A mother has a role to play and a moral duty. A pastor and spiritual leaders have a role to play and a moral duty, and goes on and on and on. After all, a child will build its perspective and knowledge of God based and through the personal example demonstrated of its parents in the family. Children will initially learn about grace, but also about obedience nowhere else, but again, in the family. So, do we want that kind of education for our children? Then let's continue making it happen.
The example that we give as parents is crucial for the education of our children, even when they are at more mature age. Learning from the past, lest we forget, the lesson says. We all think that we know that, but let's spend some more time reflecting on this in our own context. Now, dig deep and be honest. Only then we can start really learning.
We will continue our study next week about education with the lesson, The Law as Teacher.